Joining us now, terrorism analyst Tom Makaitis. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
How much to read into early intelligence reports like this? How reliable are they typically?
Well, it's less the earliness that concerns me as the fact that it comes out of the Defense Intelligence Agency, which in fact is the intelligence agency specifically tasked with military intelligence. So I have a hard time believing they would leak something like this, whoever did it, without a high degree of confidence. And if you notice on Sunday, during the briefing, General Kane was far more reserved about claims of what the attacks had actually done. So I think most experts have said it would have taken multiple strikes to knock out those sites and would be very difficult. And Iran had plenty of advanced warning. So I think it's quite likely that the report is substantially accurate. It's no question they've suffered severe damage, but not as crippling as the administration had hoped or claimed.
In the big scheme of things, what happens next? Would there be another strike to finish the job if the intelligence is true, or it sparked this ceasefire and just the mere fact that they did a strike had its impact?
I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic about the ceasefire holding in the short run, because the president does not want to do anything more than claim that he managed to resolve this. So to launch more strikes is to admit that he was wrong, which is not something he does. So I think in the short run, it will. What the question will be, a ceasefire is not a peace agreement. How are we going from this to some kind of permanent settlement? I think in the short run, Iran has no choice but to go along. It's in everyone's best interest, with the possible exception of Netanyahu, who would have liked to, quote unquote, finish the job. The Russians are making noises that they're going to come in and help the Iranians rebuild, and I think that's very likely because it would give them a foothold in the Persian Gulf. So there's a lot of unintended consequences here unfolding in the weeks and months and years ahead.
Tom, let's talk about terrorism, whether we're talking about sleeper cells or cyber terrorism. How have the government cuts impacted our terrorism defenses and homeland security?
Potentially quite seriously, and unfortunately you never know until something happens. But contrary to the myth that everybody who works for the government is on some kind of federal gravy train where they just collect a paycheck and don't do much work is ridiculous. I mean, I know some of the people who work in the who have worked in the intelligence community, and they're invaluable. They gave away years of experience by firing some of these individuals, and for that, that's going to hurt us potentially, as well as degrading our cyber capability and also just cutting back the sheer numbers of people. Intelligence gathering is slow, painstaking work, putting together a jigsaw puzzle with lots of missing pieces. And you don't want to diminish that capacity at such a volatile time in international relations.
All right, Tom Makaitis, we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank you, Tom.
Have a nice day.
It's 8:06. Governor